Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well and staying at your homes. So, today we are talking about India. I'm Jasneet and I'm from Punjab, which is in the northern part of India, and that's why we are called Punjabis. What I love about being from Punjab is the warmth of the people around, their kind and jovial nature. Yeah, they're always very welcoming. And on top of that, their love for food. Every Punjabi just loves food. So I have so many favorites, but if I have to choose just one, that would be puri bhaji, which I am having right now. Ta-da! So this is puri. It is made out of wheat, and this is bhaji. It is actually a potato curry. So yeah, it's really delicious. You should definitely try it. Further, Punjab, or I could say actually India, is a multicultural land. So we have a lot of different cultures, different religions, and festivals. So I belong to Sikhism. So my religion is Sikhism, and we are called Sikhs. This was founded by Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and the belief of this religion is humanity. You guys might have read about the Sikhs serving nature in times of need all around the world. Even in Dubai, we have a Sikh temple. The name of the temple is Guru Nanak Darbar. Hope you guys would love to visit Punjab someday. Take care. Good luck. Bye bye.
Hi everyone. I went to India and I remember a baby elephant in the back of a truck, cashew nut trees with strange looking fruit. I remember colourful fishing boats on the beach and collecting starfish and hermit crabs. I remember bright woven fabrics for saris. I loved going for rides in the streets in a tuk-tuk, a funny little three-wheeled car. I loved putting straws in coconuts and drinking out the sweet coconut milk inside. I loved eating food off banana leaf plates. I loved looking at all the brightly coloured woven baskets. I especially loved eating fried bananas with sugar and coconut. I loved India.
Here are some photos from Miss Robin's trip to India.
Hi, grade threes. It's nice to be here today. I want to share with you my little visit to India because I hear you guys are learning about India. I was there over winter break and I traveled with a friend of mine who lives in Canada. So we were able to compare UAE, Canada, and India during our visit. We landed in the city of Delhi, which is the capital, or New Delhi, it's also called. It is very big. It's the second biggest city in the entire world with 28 million people. I think Abu Dhabi has about 1.4 million. It would take 20 Abu Dhabis to make one New Delhi. Imagine 20 Abu Dhabis to make one New Delhi. There are many big cities in India, but there are also, because it's so large, there's also other spaces. There are beaches if you're interested in that kind of experience. There are jungles that you can actually trek and see their tigers. There are high mountains that if you were interested in trekking and hiking. There are river and waterways that you can enjoy water activities. There are forests. There's agricultural land where there is a lot of canola grown, which is the oil that probably many of your families use for cooking, that is grown out in India. Lots and lots to do. In the time we were there, we weren't able to do all of those, but we did get a feel of the country nonetheless. One of the things that stood out is the number of cultural differences that they experience in India. For example, their food, there is lots of similarities, but one of the things that I enjoyed was a simple bread there that it's called roti, and maybe some of you have had it. It is a kind of a bread dough. that is pressed and cooked against the hot side of a cauldron. And we experienced seeing that in Goa, and hopefully that you'll see that too with a video I sent to Miss Vondushka. The other things that are different there are that you'll see elephants in traffic, not in every place, more the tourist places, and they're not used for transportation except for people that are tourists. And they don't transport goods on them anymore. We experience the arts in terms of their musical instruments. Yes, they've got drums. Yes, they've got types of horns, and yes, they have singing. But the sounds are very different than what we would experience in either Canada or the UAE. And hopefully you'll see some of that. We also got the chance to learn block printing. And block printing is how they produce much of their fabric. If you know Miss Dilpreet from school, she has an Indian background. She's of an Indian background, and she has many outfits that have block prints on them. So hopefully you'll see some of that. We actually got to make an elephant block print while we were there. The other thing is marigolds, and those are flowers about the size of a button. You will see marigolds absolutely everywhere because they are strung in either garlands or necklaces or in little bouquets, but they are used for to honor their gods, and they bring them to temple. They lay them on people's graves to honor the deceased. They also use them as a way of sort of spiritual protection, and you'll see them hanging on the rearview mirror of cars, on bicycles, on rickshaws, on tuk-tuks, which is like a little three-wheeled truck, on the doorways of stores and market kiosks and people's homes, and so that those that enter under the garland are seen to be protected. The other thing that stands out is that was very different was the way they did laundry. And this was a really unique experience to me. I'm guessing that many of you have seen laundry being done at home with machines, or perhaps it's sent out and somebody else does it by a dry cleaner or a laundry service, or at a laundromat in some places. But in the city of Mumbai, they have a community laundry. And when I say community, I mean 7,000 people that live and work in one area where they do laundry. They do the city's laundry, and Mumbai, again, is millions of people. So they do the city's laundry for the hotels, the hospitals, the military, uniforms for other areas, perhaps in universities, some of the public laundry for the people, but most of it is on a big scale. So you will see lines and lines of drying laundry in Mumbai at the community laundry. You'll see people beating the laundry to get it clean. You'll see people folding laundry. Everyone in that 7,000 person community has a role to do laundry every single day for the city of Mumbai. The standout, actually, for my visit to India is one that you're probably familiar with, and that's the Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal is in the city of Agra, and it is one of the 7 wonders of the world, and that's a very prestigious position to hold because it has tremendous history. It is a very large building made mostly of marble that was built by a Shah about not quite 500 years ago. He was madly in love with one of his wives, and she died quite suddenly. And to honor her, he decided that he would build this Taj Mahal. They call it the Taj for short. And in so doing, he had to enlist 20,000 or more people to build it. It took 22 years to build. And so the materials that they built it with, it doesn't come from just Agra. It comes from the regions all around India, Nepal, China, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and it wasn't transported like we would normally transport things, maybe in large trucks or by ships. They didn't have those luxuries. They used 11,000 elephants over those 22 years to build the Taj Mahal. You'll notice the top of the Taj Mahal has a dome. They refer to that as the Onion Dome, and you can have a look into see why it's called the Onion Dome. On that note, I understand that there is a hotel in Dubai that has tried to imitate some of what the Taj Mahal looks like. It's a pretty good rendition apparently, but not exact. It won't have the precious jewels or the precious metals that they used in the Taj Mahal in Agra, but it does give you a sense of what the grandness of that building. So if you're ever in Dubai and you don't go to India, you might want to have a look at a visit to the Taj Hotel in Dubai. You are going to learn way more than what I was able to share here with you. Please hang in there and enjoy your learning with your teachers. I'm looking forward to hearing from them and about your experience about learning about India. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Good to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Here are some photographs and video clips from Miss Pia's recent trip to India.
Okay? जाने दे अपना जाने दे So this I will drive for you. When you leave this place, you can have this video. This is present for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ajay, वहाँ सीट पे सुखा दे. Just plain water. Now inside, I will show you things what I put.
Hey grade 3, it's Ms. Jamie here. I just wanted to send a little video to talk about two of my trips to India. I was very fortunate to have 2 vacations there. They were quite short, but they were amazing. My first trip to India, I went to the Golden Triangle, which is 3 different areas in India. The first was Delhi, which is the capital of India. I think currently there's roughly 19 million people that live there. And my favorite thing about Delhi was just the hustle and bustle. There were so many people there. We took a rickshaw tour, which is when you sit in a chair with wheels and then someone controls the handles and they drive you around while you're sitting in the chair. We took one of those tours through one of the really old bazaars. So if you don't know what a bazaar is, it's kind of like a really busy shopping area with lots of stores, lots of trinkets, lots of clothing, food. It was really, really amazing. After Delhi, we went to a place called Agra, and this is where we went to see the famous Taj Mahal, which was a monument that was built out of love. I can read you here. The construction of the Taj Mahal began after the emperor, Shah Jahan's wife, died in childbirth. So the emperor's wife unfortunately passed away, and he built the Taj Mahal as a memorial for her. So it's a beautiful monument out of love. That was one of my favorite monuments to see. And then we went to a place called Jaipur, which is famous because of many reasons. It's also known because everything there is pink. So when you go into the city, all the buildings are beautiful terracotta pink. We also went to a bunch of places to see them make famous Indian carpets and rugs that are usually made out of wool and silks. And they're very, very beautiful. It's a very good way for them to make money, is to make and sell those rugs. They're hand woven. And then the last thing we did was take an elephant ride up to see the fort that's very famous there, called the Amber Fort. So that was a really, really fun trip. My second trip, I went to an area called Goa. I believe Miss Fendushka has also been there, so she can tell you a little bit more about that. But we really enjoyed the beaches of Goa and all of the food. So I also just wanted to share with you a few of the things that I loved about India. The first was that the women wore these beautiful saris. I'm going to see if I can show you a picture of a sari here. I'm not sure if you can see that, but the woman there in the purple is wearing a sari, and I just thought the women there looked so beautiful in these saris. Another thing that I loved about it was the rugs, as I told you before. So that's a picture there of an example of a massive area rug. This would probably cover your whole room in your front living room. And one of the other things I loved about India was the food. I don't know if you can see that there, if there's a bad glare, but that is butter chicken. So the food there was delicious. They don't eat cows because cows there are holy. They're very sacred. So maybe perhaps that's where the term holy cow came from, I don't know. But all the food there that I ate was chicken, so my favorite was butter chicken. Really delicious tomato sauce with chicken and rice, and this bread called naan bread, which was just so delicious. And the last thing that I loved, this is one that I bought for my sister, is a singing bowl. So usually if you go like this, after a while it'll start singing, but I'm gonna make it go faster here for you. Oh no, I can't do it now. Oh, I'm really bad. Okay, well I can't get it to work for you today, but normally this does sing. It's just really hard to keep it going. But if any of you have a singing bowl, maybe you could show a video of it from home and give it into your class. Okay, well enjoy the video. Good luck learning about India, and hope you enjoyed the video. Good to see you guys. Bye. I think it's because I was holding it. So there's one of the singing bowl. And it'll keep singing if you keep going along the outside. A lot of yogis, so people who study yoga and practice yoga, do a lot of sound meditation. So this is also used a lot in India. So enjoy and good luck with your e-learning. Bye.
Good morning, grade 3s. Madame Emmeline here. The first time I went to India was on a weekend vacation back in October. I loved India so much, I went back again about 2 months later, and I spent 3 whole weeks there. I love India so much, and I want to go again and again and again. A couple of my favorite things about India. Number one, I definitely have to say the food. I cannot tell you how much I ate when I was in India. Everything was so delicious and spicy and comforting, and it was just so delicious. I enjoyed every minute of it. What else I like about India? I loved the people in India that I met so much. I found everybody to be so friendly and warm and helpful, and I would often have people start conversations with me, and we would just chat even if I didn't know them at all. And I thought that was really fun and so awesome to be able to get to know a lot of people that I wouldn't normally get to know. Now, I could go on for so long about all that I love about India, but I think my time is up. But if you ever have the chance to go visit, definitely take it. Bye, guys.
Hey, grade 3. I just wanted to tell you about a little time that I was living in India. I was there for 3 years, and I lived on the side of a mountain, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute. But first I want to talk to you about 4 things, actually. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the clothing that we were wearing while we were there. So one thing that I wore all the time was called a salwar kameez, and that's a long shirt, and it goes down to my knees, and with some pants underneath that were kind of like really big and baggy. And something that you wear with all your shirts, all your salwar kameez suits, is something called a dupatta. And a dupatta is just a long scarf, and you wear it around your neck like this, but you don't tie it on, you just leave it loose like that. I like to wear mine like this, but lots of people wear it down a little bit like this, and this is called a dupatta. And every Friday at the school that I was at, we used to have sari Fridays. And so every Friday, all the ladies, we'd wear a sari. And that's the sort of outfit where it wraps. It's meters and meters of material, and you wrap it and you fold it a special way at your stomach. And you wrap it around and you throw it over your shoulder. So we loved wearing saris. So those are the kinds of clothes we wear. And the food that we ate while we were living there, we actually had some similar things to here. We used to have chicken biryani all the time. We would also eat lots of rice and dal, which is a lentil. And the dal was in sort of like a tomatoey kind of sauce, or sometimes it was a creamy sauce. And then we'd put that over the rice, and we'd eat that with some fresh cucumbers and radishes and whatever was available, tomatoes, that sort of thing, carrots. And we also had something called aloo gobi, and aloo is potato and gobi is cauliflower. So they would cook that together. That was really nice and spicy. And one thing I thought you might find interesting is that milk in India is called, or in North India anyway, is called doodh. So we ate a lot of the same kind of things that we eat while we're here, but no shawarma. Too sad. One thing about the food, though, is that it was so spicy, like burn my mouth spicy. So I always had to have what we call dahi. That was a yogurt, similar to here, and I would pour that all over my food, and that would kind of calm the spice down for me. I had a really hard time with all the spice. And I wanted to talk to you about the language that we spoke while we were there, and we spoke Hindi. And in Hindi, to say hello, put our hands together and we say namaste. And whenever we were talking to somebody who was like an older kind of person, or anybody who was like a teacher or a shop owner or anything, we would call them ji, which is like sir. So I would say namaste ji. And then if you wanted to ask them, how are you? You'd say, ab kaise hain? And to answer, if you're saying I'm fine, you would say ab theek hai. So that was kind of fun. And I'll just count for you up to 10. It's ek, do, teen, char, panch, che, sat, at, no, das. And that's in Hindi. Now this is the language that they speak in North India. In South India, they speak all over India, there's hundreds of languages, but the very common language in North India is Hindi. And so when we were living there, we were living in a province, I guess you'd call it, or like an emirate, called Uttar Pradesh. And while we were there, it changed to be Uttarakhand. And we were very close to the Nepal and Tibet border up in the mountains. And so like we were way in the mountains, like 6,000 feet up in the air. And every day we would have to climb the mountain 1,000 feet, because we lived at the bottom of the school campus. And we had to climb 1,000 feet just to get up to school. So you never wanted to leave or forget anything at home, because it was a heck of a climb. So climb up, go to school, and climb back down again. And you could drive a car, but it was very, very dangerous because the roads were very, very tiny. So most people had scooters, but we didn't have a scooter. So we had to walk everywhere we went. So every day, hiking up the mountain, and I had my 3 little kids there with me, and they were even younger than you are. So it was quite an adventure for us every day. And while we're doing this hike, we would be hiking with the monkeys. And there were 2 different kinds of monkeys there. There were rhesus monkeys. They were really mean, and you had to stay way away from them. So every day they would try and walk with us, and they would like kind of walk along the fence, the top of the fence, and try and come. And if we didn't, make lots of noise or anything, they would probably jump on us. And if they do that, then you have to go and get a needle because those monkeys carry rabies. So every day we'd have to kind of fend off the monkeys. And so we would always pick up some rocks or walk with some rocks in our hands so that we wouldn't throw them at the monkey, but we would throw them kind of towards the monkey, and then they would get scared and go away. So they always had guards posted all over on this walk who would have slingshots, and they would slingshot towards the monkeys to kind of keep them away from us. And the second kind of monkey that we had was called a langur, and they're actually bigger than your dad. So they were really big monkeys, but they were way more shy, and they didn't really come all that close to us. But I want to tell you a story about a monkey that came to visit us at our house one day. And I think we were upstairs. We weren't in the room that he came in, but we didn't have screens or anything on our windows. And so he climbed in our window and went to the fridge, took an apple off the top of the fridge, and then went right back out the window again. So I'm glad I wasn't in the room with them because they're huge and kind of scary. And when our kids would be out on the deck in the yard, the littler monkeys would come and kind of steal their toys or steal their food. So it was an interesting time, a very interesting time. But it was beautiful because we were in the jungle and we had trees everywhere. And one of the years that we were there, we hiked all over the place. We hiked 1,000 kilometers one year, just up and down in the mountains. It was absolutely beautiful because we lived, even though we were, sort of at the bottom of our campus, and we walked 1,000 feet up to the top of the mountain, or up to the campus. That wasn't even the top of the mountain. We could also climb down the mountain beyond our house, which was, oh my gosh, we could walk for hours and still not get to the bottom. So it was very interesting. Lots of exercise, lots of beautiful green trees and flowers and grasses and everything. It was very beautiful. We also had monsoon while we were there. And every year for about 4 months, it just rained nonstop. So you had to have a nice raincoat and some rubber boots, and even going to school, pouring down the rain. It was quite a fun time, and I really, really enjoyed living there. It was such a beautiful experience. So I hope someday that you will get to visit India too. Namaste ji.
So as Miss Jamie said, I also had the chance to visit Goa, which is a part of India too. I visited there in December, and my favorite thing was looking at the amazing landscapes and the really interesting buildings that I had the privilege to see. So I visited some churches and temples. I also thought it was awesome when we were driving around to see cows walking in the middle of the street, crossing the road and the traffic stopping for them. This was my favorite dish when I visited Goa. It's called dosa, and I absolutely loved my whole trip there. The experience was amazing, and I cannot wait to return to this magical country.